Hey y'all, I'm back again with another Pokemon Challenge video. Pokemon Red with only Dratini was incredibly difficult, so this time I wanted to use one of my favorite Pokemon from VGC. Can I beat Pokemon Red using only one Kangaskhan? As usual, the rules are I can only use Kangaskhan in battle, and I can't use any items in battle. By the way, if you like this kind of content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and check out more of the videos on my channel. Kangaskhan is one of the weirder designs for a Pokemon, and that's saying something. It's a maternal kangaroo that never lets its baby out of the pouch. In terms of stats, Kangaskhan is actually pretty strong, but the special stat leaves much to be desired. Level up moveset is bland, but man, look at those TM moves. So many options for us to choose from. Alright, let's just get into this one and see how it goes. Let's do it. Off at Professor Oak's lab, I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Charmander with Kangaskhan, so the rival will pick Squirtle. Kangaskhan has plenty of coverage moves for all the starters, but Blastoise is the bulkiest overall. I like to make things harder than they need to be after all. Kangaskhan refuses to let its baby out of the pouch, so I nickname our Kangaskhan Munchausen. Kangaskhan starts off with Comet Punch and Rage. Comet Punch is a decent multi-hit move, and Rage is one of the worst moves in the game. Kangaskhan is way too strong right now compared to the basic Pokemon at this point, so we're able to make quick work of the rival's Pokemon. After all of the grinding I've had to do for previous runs, I'm so glad to report that I managed to beat Brock with Kangaskhan at only level 12. I was worried we wouldn't be able to beat Brock for a while, mostly because we don't have any other moves to dodge Bide. We cannot protect, we must only attack. But even so, it turns out we didn't need to worry. Comet Punch being a multi-hit move is actually great. It gives Kangaskhan more chances to chain critical hits, plus Kangaskhan actually has a really great attack stat. If this is any indication for how the rest of the run is going to go, then I'm very excited to see how this one turns out. I need a little less struggle in my life. These challenges can be pretty grueling sometimes. I was tempted to try this one using only Rage, but that sounds excruciating. Hey, maybe I'll do it as a challenge one of these days. Pokemon Red using only Rage, Pain Edition. What do you think? You're right, that sounds terrible. I get to Cerulean City and take on the rival Bubs, and at this point Comet Punch is doing crazy amounts of damage to all of the opposing Pokemon. I also taught the TM for Water Gun that we picked up in Mount Moon. Would have been nice to have that for Brock, but at least rock types now won't be such a pain in the gooch moving forward. After the rival Bubs, I taught Mega Punch to Kangaskhan and head straight to the Cerulean City gym to take on Misty. Mega Punch is pretty strong and rips through her entire team, but even so, our special stat is low enough that Starmie could have easily knocked us out had it not thrown the battle by using Tackle when we were already low HP. Aboard the S.S.N., we take on the rival Bubs once again. This is the part of the run where things really open up for us. I taught the TM for Body Slam to Kangaskhan, and this is easily the best move in the game for the maternal monster. It's really strong, gets the same type attack bonus for being normal, and also has a chance to paralyze. Lieutenant Surge is up next, and I was so confident apparently that I didn't even bother healing before the battle. Body Slam is strong and his Pokemon are squishy, so 4 Body Slams is enough to seal the deal. I spent way more time solving the trash can puzzle than I actually did fighting Lieutenant Surge. Heck, I spent more time reading Lieutenant Surge's text than actually battling him. Raichu, you deserve better. After passing through Rock Tunnel in the dark, I take on the rival Bubs in the Pokemon Tower in Lavender Town. I taught the TM for Bubble Beam we got from beating Misty to Kangaskhan, and it's nice for the Growlithe here, but we don't even really need it for anything that isn't a rock type. Body Slam is strong enough on its own to put all of Bubs' Pokemon into an early grave. It's at this point I try taking on Erica at the Grass Gym in Celadon City, and I could have taught Kangaskhan the TM for Ice Beam, but our special is so bad that we actually do way more damage with Body Slam, even though it's neutral. Victory Bell does outspeed Kangaskhan and keeps locking us into Wrap. That's the great thing about Kangaskhan compared to a Pokemon like Tauros though, which is very similar, in that Kangaskhan is actually pretty bulky by comparison. After Erica, there's that whole thing with Giovanni and proving who is the superior Kangaskhan trainer. Bubble Beam makes quick work of his entire team, so we get an easy win here, but I can't help but chuckle at the idea of a giant rock monster grimacing in excruciating pain from being touched by Bubbles. Before taking on Koga, I decided to grab the TM for Earthquake from the Sylph Company building, and while I was here, I decided to challenge the rival once again. I was really worried about his Alakazam being able to destroy Kangaskhan with a strong Psychic, but he just used Disable for no reason, so Body Slam was pretty easily able to Big Chungus our way through the entire team, and Blastoise still has Water Gun. Oh, and it's Giovanni again, look at that. And Kangaskhan is still just too strong for his entire team. The combination of Body Slam and Earthquake is really strong for a Pokemon with high attack, like Kangaskhan, and Bubble Beam is there to pick up the slack for any rock types that can actually tank an Earthquake. Next up is the Poison Gym Leader Koga in Fuchsia City, and this one was way more manageable than I expected with Earthquake. Muck kept trying to avoid the inevitable by spamming Minimize, so I just had to retry a couple times until I knocked it out. And eventually, Weezing comes out, launches a self-destruct, critical hits, but our tanky little mama survives, and we get the Soul Badge anyways. Then I head back to Saffron City, and it's basically a coin flip as to whether or not we can beat Sabrina. Her Psychic Pokemon have low defense, and Kangaskhan hits really hard with Body Slam, but her Venomoth and Alakazam can both survive one Body Slam, and sometimes Venomoth goes for Stun Spore to Paralyze, and Alakazam can critical hit, so it's really a coin flip. Next up is Blaine though, and now that we have Earthquake, it's not all that hard. His Pokemon don't even really get a chance to attack until we get to the Arcanine, which does hit as hard with a critical hit takedown, but that still does less than half our health, which really goes to show the strength of Kangaskhan's physical bulk. Mama Kang's got some meat on those bones, I'll tell you what. Oh, hey, it's Giovanni again. Gotta get the 8th gym badge, so it's time for yet another unnecessarily easy and unfortunately mandatory battle. Do I even need to describe what is happening here? Giovanni is getting wrecked, so everyone please, F's in the chat for Giovanni as always. Afterwards, the rival fight with Bubs here is the first time since Brock that the game actually poses a real challenge for Kangaskhan. Most of his Pokemon aren't a big deal, and Kangaskhan busts a move all over them. But the Alakazam and Blastoise are a nightmare. Alakazam often crits, and even when it doesn't, it does 90% of our health with Psychic. It's not until we get a paralysis on both Blastoise and Alakazam, and Blastoise gets paralyzed a bunch, that we're able to win. But then again, we haven't even used Badge Boost at all during this run, so this would have been a lot easier had we been able to do that. Just keep that in mind. Here are the stats going into the Elite Four. Kangaskhan is on par with Tauros in terms of move pool and power, just a little bit slower and slightly lower special. First up is Lorelei, and I mentioned before that we'd made it through without using Badge Boost to this point, and this is the battle where all that changes. Lorelei's Pokemon are just too bulky, and our special is too low to beat her at this level otherwise. So, after mulling it over, I decided to replace Dizzy Punch with Mimic and Bubble Beam with Thunderbolt. The strategy, like usual, is to beat down her Dugong and Cloyster as quickly as possible, and then use Mimic on the Slowbro to copy Amnesia. Amnesia boosts special by 2 stages, so even though our special is naturally lower, when it is fully boosted, Thunderbolt is actually able to handle the rest of Lorelei's team pretty well. You can't necessarily one-hit KO things with Thunderbolt, but for instance on Lapras, you can do just enough damage to put it into Super Potion range. That is of course a retroactive Super Potion that's technically cheating, but the AI in this game is cheap anyways. Serves you right. After the battle, I use a rare candy to reset our experience points so that we won't level up during the battle with Bruno. And remember that leveling up resets the additional badge boost that we receive from modifying our stats. Bruno's up now, and this would have been really easy if we still had Bubble Beam, but we needed Thunderbolt for Lorelei, and honestly, Earthquake is still pretty great here. We use Mimic to copy Harden from the lead Onix to boost our defense, but also grab Badge Boost to attack while we're at it. The defense is important though, because Fighting type is Kangaskhan's only weakness, and Machamp will be able to survive a Body Slam and return with a submission for huge damage, if it actually tried to do something good for once, instead of using Focus Energy, which doesn't even work. So, we Gucci. Next up is Agatha, and as always, she's annoying, but it is an easy battle thanks to Earthquake. Her Pokemon all have mediocre defense, and Earthquake being a physical move that's super effective against Poison type is pretty incredible. It's not very often in these runs where we can actually hit Agatha with real damage, and man does it feel good to just slap her Pokemon around like this. Right at the very end though, she does kick it into gear. Arbok paralyzes Kangaskhan with Glare, and her last Gengar confuses us, and we smack ourselves in the face a frightening number of times, but in the end, we pulled through, and it just feels so good. If you've seen some of these runs before, you know the struggle that Agatha poses more often than not. After Agatha, it's time to take on the last Elite Four member, Lance, and I was expecting this one to be a bit harder than it actually really was. I replaced Thunderbolt with Blizzard since dragons are weak to ice, but in hindsight, I probably could have stuck with Thunderbolt and done just as well. And like a lot of these battles, the beginning is sort of front-loaded with lots of move inputs and setup, and then the tail end of it just flies by. To start, Gyarados leers at me longingly before going down to Body Slam, and when Dragonair comes out, we use Mimic to copy Agility. Mainly so we can outspeed Aerodactyl, but also you know me, I never say no to a free badge boost, baby! Dragonair goes down into Body Slams, Aerodactyl falls to a harsh winter's gale, and Kangaskhan really goes out of its way to make me proud, because while it doesn't knock out the Dragonite, it does freeze it solid, which means we win the battle. God, I love when it happens like that. Finally, it's time to take on the champion, our rival Bubs, and for this one, we're pulling out all the stops. Body Slam isn't quite as strong as it used to be, and his Blastoise is able to take 4 of them, leaving us open to counterattack with Hydro Pump. So I replaced Body Slam with Double Edge, the strongest normal move in the game that doesn't require a recharge turn. The battle starts, and I quickly take out the Pidgeot, then use Mimic to copy Recover on the Alakazam. This will help to heal off the recoil damage we incur from using Double Edge. His Pokemon are all taking hits a lot better than I like, but thankfully the 33% chance to freeze on Blizzard comes in clutch against his Exeggutor. This means we get a free chance to heal and go into the Blastoise with full health. And really that's what it's always come down to. Kangaskhan versus Blastoise. Mano y mano. Turtle et kangaroo. Dear Lord, what am I even talking about anymore? Well, Exeggutor goes down, Blastoise comes out, and I blast it with a Double Edge, and it hits us with Bites, because I guess Hydro Pump wasn't good enough, and then it boosts its defense with Withdrawal, but it's too little too late, and Munchausen takes the win. And with that, the challenge is over. I'm genuinely impressed with just how strong Kangaskhan truly is. It definitely gets overshadowed by Tauros, which is pretty similar, albeit strictly better in almost every way. Still, it's a super cool Pokemon that holds a special fortress in my cold black heart. Well, as always, I want to thank you for making it to the end of this video. These videos are a lot of fun, but also a lot of work, so I really do appreciate it. There's a playlist on my channel where you can find the rest of my Pokemon Challenge videos if you want to check those out as well. And if you like this kind of content and want to see more, subscribe and enable notifications so you'll know right away the next time one of these episodes is uploaded. And let me know in the comments what other Pokemon you want to see, and I'll probably do it. Continuing with the theme of Safari Pokemon I never used as a child, next up is beating Pokemon Red using only one Rhyhorn. Oh, what's that you said? Another awful Brock fight? Oh yeah, I'm right there with you, buddy. Anyways, until next time,